Hi everybody, this is Mike Pettigrew and welcome to this webinar, Life-Changing Success Secrets of the Top 5%. And this webinar is for you if you want to achieve all your goals more quickly. And it's for you if you want to learn these success secrets of high performers, or if you want to take your career or your business to the next level faster, or if you want to have more energy, enthusiasm, aliveness and joy, or if you want to be more successful and fulfilled, or to have more freedom and make more money, then this training will be of enormous benefit to you. Now, I just want to say that I have a very valuable free gift that I want to give to you, but you're going to need to wait until the very end of the webinar, because I'm actually offering over $500 worth of personal development training, and this is available to everyone watching this webinar. So I'm really excited to be able to give this to you, so do stick around to the end of the webinar. Now at this point you're probably wondering who this guy Mike Pettigrew is and why should you even listen to me? Well, here are some of the things I've done. I'm a #1 Amazon best-selling author. I have multiple bestsellers, and I've been interviewed on radio and TV more than 100 times. And I've traveled all over the world seeking answers to life's mysteries. And I've spent 40 years researching the keys to success, happiness, and wealth. And I've bought, built, created, and sold 18 businesses at this point. And some of those businesses have made millions. And I've really achieved many successes. All my major goals were achieved by the time I was 39. I'm actually 55 now, and it was a shock. Back when I was 39, I just sold my first really successful company to a multinational, and it just struck me one day I'd actually achieved all my major goals in life, and some of those goals were really, really huge. So I do know something about how to get ahead faster in life. And today I teach ordinary people how to achieve extraordinary goals. That's really my mission in life from this point forwards. So without any further ado, let's get straight into the webinar. I'm going to go live to camera from this point forwards. Hi everybody, and welcome to this month's live training for members of the Ultimate Success Club. And this month we're going to look at how to generate courage and happiness to achieve your dreams. You might think, do I really need courage and happiness to achieve my dreams? When you have more courage and when you're happier in yourself, you can turn your dreams into reality so much more easily, because your whole mind works at much higher capacity. So what are we going to be covering this month? Well, this month, what you will learn today, how to create a positive mental attitude. And if any of you have watched, or if any of you have read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and I know many people have in the Ultimate Success Club, there's a copy of it in the resources section. But positive mental attitude is fundamental for achieving what you want much more quickly. So positive mental attitude is really important for creating a success mindset. And also we're going to look at the importance of self-image. And we're going to look at the work of Dr. Maxwell Maltz, because he discovered that self-image is everything. If you've got poor self-image, it holds you back dramatically from achieving a far better life. And we're also going to look at the secret to long-term sustainable happiness. A lot of people have this illusion that they're going to be happy when they achieve something, or they will be happy in the future. They're always trying to be happy, but never quite achieve it. And we're going to discover happiness, the long-term sustainable happiness. It's a lot closer than you think, a lot easier to achieve deep, lasting happiness than you may imagine. And we're also going to look at the magical power of going the extra mile. This is also a Napoleon Hill concept, and it can make the difference between achieving mediocre success in your career, your family life, your personal life, or achieving incredible success, going way beyond what most people achieve. And look, let's face it, this is the purpose of the Ultimate Success Club. I'm here to teach you the things that matter most, the things that make the fundamental difference. Because you know what, if you want to do, if you copy other people, if you copy what most people do, you will not achieve your dreams. You will not. But I'm sharing with you every month the things that matter most, the habits, strategies, tools and techniques that the world's most successful people and the highest performers use to get them from where they are right now to wherever they want to be. So these are tried and tested, scientifically proved methods, okay? So we're going to look at the magical power of going the extra mile. We're also going to look at high performance habits that create courage. And courage, you might think, you know, I certainly didn't have a lot of courage before. But when I developed courage, my whole life changed, and I'll go into that a little bit later. And basically, let's put it this way, fear stops people improving their circumstances. That is fact. Fear is one of the biggest things that stops people achieving a better life. And by developing more courage, you actually achieve your goals. You can achieve things that were impossible for you before. And it makes the impossible possible. It makes the impossible possible. And a long time ago, in my teens, late teens, very shy. I was very, very shy. You might not think that now, but I was desperately shy. A lot of very little self-confidence. I always thought people were staring at me. I felt like I was, you know, it was like I was walking around with two heads. Really self-conscious. I thought people thought I was weird. I thought people, it's amazing how much energy we dissipate in life when we're worried about what other people think. But when we develop courage, and for me, I was really shy, as I say, and going up to a girl at a nightclub or a dance or disco, I'd be really petrified. I'd be stuttering and stammering, and I was rejected every time. Well, most times. But I realized that, even back then, that my shyness was going to hold me back from so many wonderful things in life. And if I wanted a great life, I had to overcome that shyness. So I put myself into situations that challenged my shyness, that made me grow courage slowly but surely. You don't have to do something huge, just slow improvements in your life, slow steps to increase your courage and your confidence, and it works. It worked miracles for me. So, I know I say it every month. And for those of you, and this is a reminder for people, or rather I say this for people who are just joining the Ultimate Success Club, because every month there are new members coming in. They've never heard me saying this before, so apologies to everyone else who's heard me say this innumerable times. Do the exercises. The exercises are vital. The exercises that I'll be sharing with you. Don't just watch these live trainings. Don't just watch them like TV, because the exercises will change your life. I promise you. You do the exercises and your life will change, and you will find that the Ultimate Success Club really has been the best investment you've ever made in yourself. So the exercises are the things that will enable you to achieve more than you can possibly imagine at this stage, most likely. Okay? Now, positive mental attitude. This guy here, Napoleon Hill, he was the author of Think and Grow Rich, one of the greatest bestsellers ever written. It's still a bestseller today, almost 100 years after he wrote it. And so many, in fact, most books and courses and workshops and seminars are based in part on this man's work. Remarkable man. And Napoleon Hill said that there is very little difference in people, but that little difference makes a big difference. The little difference is attitude. The big difference is whether it is positive or negative. So he talked about this positive mental attitude and how to develop a positive mental attitude. Developing a positive mental attitude is vital. Okay, it's so important. Okay, so let's look at this a bit further. As I say, it makes the impossible possible when you develop a positive mental attitude. And basically, our outlook on life determines everything. Our outlook is what creates our life. And if we're pessimistic, if we are quite negative, or we're cynical, then our pessimism, it influences our thoughts, our beliefs, our feelings, our actions, and our results. So if we are quite pessimistic, I promise you, if you are quite pessimistic, your pessimism is holding you back from amazing things in your future. And you need to address that. Now, on the other hand, a positive mental attitude really does make the impossible become possible for you. And it's vital for creating a far better life. And it's essential for achieving great success. I don't know about you. I want to be really successful. I have been really successful. I am successful. But by the time I leave this world, I want to make a very big difference in society. I've got big dreams, very big dreams, and I've had big dreams in the past and I've achieved them. That's why I wrote the most powerful goal achievement system in the world. And if you haven't read it, you have a free copy in the resources area. But I don't know about you, but I have huge goals for the future. Once I leave this world, hopefully when I'm very old, I want to have left a legacy that has helped millions of people to create far better lives. So, positive mental attitude is essential for achieving great success. If you only want to achieve mediocre success, it doesn't really matter about your attitude. It does to some extent, but I promise you, you can achieve anything you want. But you may need to make some changes within you, particularly if you're a pessimist. So, now this is a scary statistic, but I must share this with you because it's important that you understand this. This is according to the US Social Security Administration, and they say that by retirement age, only 5% of people, only 5% will be successful or financially secure. Only 5% will be successful or financially secure. 95% of people, once they once they get to retirement age, they are barely getting by financially, and in most cases, or in many cases, relying on loved ones for an income. Very scary statistics. So, basically, 95% of people, you are far ahead of 95% of people, providing you put into practice what you learn in the Ultimate Success Club and stay with me for at least the next year. And I promise you, if you do, your life will change in incredible ways. You'll be the top 2% of this world, top 2% of all people in terms of happiness, fulfillment, abundance, success, and you'll achieve things that most people can only dream about. So that's my promise to you. And this scary statistic, 5% of people will be unsuccessful, will not be successful. Sorry, 5% of people, only 5% will be successful and financially secure. That should shock anyone into action. Okay, limiting beliefs, your limiting beliefs and your self-image. Well, those are the things. Limiting beliefs and self-image are the reasons why 95% of people never experience real success and fulfillment. So you've got to overcome your limiting beliefs. You've got to root out and overcome your limiting beliefs. And everyone has them. Even if you are already very successful and wanting to get to the next level, you do have limiting beliefs. I promise you. But you can root those out and overcome them. And really, this is one of the most important things that I can share with you, how to root out and overcome limiting beliefs, because limiting beliefs are the biggest reason why people do not achieve their goals. Very sad, but it's fact. So this guy here is Dr. Maxwell Maltz. And I'm going to share with you an exercise to become solution focused. If you find that quite often when a problem comes up, you obsess about the problem rather than focusing on the solution. That change of perspective that change of mindset can change everything. But this guy, Dr. Maxwell Maltz, he said, close scrutiny will show that most crisis situations are opportunities to either advance or stay where you are, okay? And Maxwell Maltz, really interesting guy. He was one of the pioneers of cosmetic surgery, okay? Plastic surgery. And in the early 20th century, he noticed something very interesting. People would come to him to have their face done. They may have been disfigured in an accident, and with his scalpel, his magic wand, he literally restored their beauty, or their at least normal looks. And he noticed something very interesting. In many cases, many cases, when people's faces, their beauty was restored, or at least their normal looks were restored, they gained so much more confidence. They became outgoing, and their lives would transform. And in many cases, people who had always been disfigured for some reason since birth, once he corrected maybe their nose or something, their lives would completely change as well. So it wasn't just accidents where people were disfigured and he would improve their appearance. So most people's lives were transformed, but you know, in many cases, there were people who, even though he restored their looks or their beauty, their lives did not change at all. Their lives did not change at all because their inner scars, not their physical scars, their inner scars were actually the things that stopped them from achieving a better life. So this thing, self-image, how we view ourselves, determines everything. So this is, and I'll go into this in more detail in a moment, but I want to give you a simple exercise, and this is how to become solution-focused. How to become solution-focused. And if you've been in the Ultimate Success Club for several months, you've probably seen this before, if you've read my bestseller, The Most Powerful Goal Achievement System in the World. But whatever problem you have in life, if you're facing a big problem right now, give the problem a name, write it down. For instance, you may be having a problem with your boss at work, and just write down the words, the problem with my boss. So you've named the problem. Next thing, write out 10 ways the problem causes you to suffer, okay? Maybe you feel guilty, or maybe you feel angry, maybe you feel that your boss belittles you. Write them all down, 10 ways. And if you can't come up with 10 ways, do your best to get as many ways as possible. I suggest squeezing out of your brain 10 ways the problem causes you to suffer, because it's very important to acknowledge that you're suffering. And this is not about suppression, this is the opposite. Okay, so write out 10 ways the problem causes you to suffer. Next, write out 10 things it's helping you to learn about yourself. And you might think, I'm not learning anything about myself from this horrible boss. I can assure you, you are. It may simply be that you don't have much courage, or it may be simply that you keep saying yes when you would rather say no. So many different ways, so many different things. Basically, I'm of the opinion, I really believe that all our major problems in life are there to teach us things about ourselves. Excuse me. And when we do the learning, the problem transforms, okay? So write out 10 things that this problem is helping you to learn about yourself. And then finally, write out 10 positive things you could experience by overcoming this problem, okay? So this is the carrot. So doing this simple process, finally coming up with 10 positive things you could experience once you've overcome the problem. This should give you great incentive to focus on solution rather than problem. And do this every time that you're experiencing something unpleasant, or if life is not going the way you want, or if there are roadblocks. Doing this simple exercise will help shift your mindset into finding solutions rather than just simply focusing on the problem and allowing yourself to shrink. Very important. One moment, I am getting parched. So to your great health. Oh, that's great. It's really hot in here. Just one sec. Mopping my brow. It's a really hot day here in Ireland. It's beautiful. But my room, there's wood everywhere, and it's quite enclosed. It's a lovely office, but it can get very hot. Maybe I should put some fans in there or something. Anyway, so also, really important, use affirmations to create a positive mental attitude. Use affirmations. It's in the most powerful goal achievement system in the world, something I've talked about in several live trainings. Use affirmations. They will change everything for you. Now, self-image. Changing your self-image equals changing your life. And I love this picture here. It's a guy who is creating a picture of himself, an image of himself. But the image is also creating the guy himself. So this is really an analogy for when you change your self-image, your life reflects those changes. For me, many years ago, I've mentioned it many times, I had very low self-worth. And my first years in business back in the 1980s, I was on a financial roller coaster. Net money was a real problem until I started working on my own self-worth, my self-image. I started focusing on my self-image and changing my self-image. Everything changed. And my business became a huge success. So successful that I sold it to a multinational several years later. That was 2001, 14 years later. So changing your self-image, really, it reflects back in your circumstances. Now, Maxwell Maltz, who I showed him to you a moment ago, in his amazing book, Psycho-Cybernetics, and I'll read a bit of it in a moment, he said, the self-image is the key to human personality and human behavior. Change the self-image and you change the personality and the behavior. So when you change your self-image, it also changes your behavior and how you do things. Excuse me. And he also says, but more than this, the self-image sets the boundaries of individual accomplishment. It defines what you can and cannot do. Expand the self-image and you expand the area of the possible. And I often think about what's possible for us is much greater than we may imagine. And it's a bit like the analogy of a box, a small box inside a larger box. The small box represents your limitations, your potential right now as you are. The larger box that surrounds it is your true potential, okay? So the distance between the small box and the outer larger box is the distance by which you can grow and expand your life. So that's the potential that you have, okay? So that's I love that saying. And also he said, the development of an adequate, realistic self-image will seem to imbue the individual with new capabilities, new talents, and literally turn failure into success. And honestly, I've experienced this. I have definitely experienced this if you know my story. Change your self-image and everything changes. Now, here's an exercise. It's a recap because I've shared this exercise with you in the past, but I'm doing it again because it's so important. And you will find that every few months I will be sharing the same things again with you if they are fundamentally important. Because you know what? Our memories aren't great. Nobody's memory is great. And chances are some people in the Ultimate Success Club will not have done these techniques, these exercises, especially if they've joined recently. But these are fundamentally important. So this is how to root out, uncover, and overcome limiting beliefs. So this is a very simple exercise. It'll take you maybe about 30 minutes, could be an hour, but it can really be life-changing. So first of all, to uncover a limiting belief, this is what you do. Read this sentence aloud. I can't become or achieve something because. Now, you do this exercise as quickly as you can because you want to draw from your subconscious mind your limiting beliefs. So if we were to write this concerning wealth, rich, I can't become rich. You would write, I can't become rich because, and the very first thing that comes into your mind, write it down. Write it down really fast. You have to quickly write out a single reason why it's not possible for you. I can't become rich because, and it might be something like, rich people are pigs, or rich people are greedy and I'm not. You know, the first thing that comes to you might be money doesn't grow on trees, or my parents were never wealthy. The first thing that comes to you is really, you need to do this fast. If you do it slowly and use your conscious mind, you're not going to uncover your limiting beliefs. Not really. So do this really quickly. Now, you repeat these 2 steps until you have uncovered 10 limiting beliefs. So as I say, the key here is to do it as quickly as possible, really fast, okay? So you've now uncovered 10 limiting beliefs. Next, you score each limiting belief between 1 and 10, and the stronger the feeling, the higher the score. Now, when you're looking down your list of limiting beliefs, some of them, as you read them, you'll feel an emotional connection. You'll feel strongly about them, even if they appear to be total bullshit. And that's not true. If any of those have a strong feeling, give it a high score, 7, 8, 9, 10. If when you're reading them, there's no emotional feeling, not much connection, give it a low score. But I'm not saying here that you consciously work out which are BS and which are not. No, you what would you say? You monitor your emotions as you're reading each one of these, and score the highest. Those with the most emotion score highly. Okay, now select the 4 limiting beliefs with the highest scores. Those limiting beliefs that have the highest scores, get rid of all the others, keep those. So you've now uncovered from your subconscious mind, if you've done it quickly, okay, you have uncovered 4 limiting beliefs that are definitely holding you back from being rich. Okay, I'm only using riches as an example here. Everyone has all sorts of limiting beliefs in all sorts of different areas of life, but you choose whichever is you believe holding you back the most, the area of life where you're being held back the most. Now, how to overcome these limiting beliefs? Very simple. In this case, you do things slowly. In this case, you're using your conscious mind rather than your subconscious mind. You're using rational reasons, okay? So it's the complete opposite. So you slowly write out as many reasons as possible that counteract each of these 4 limiting beliefs using this sentence. I can become / achieve because. In this case, riches. I can become rich because. Okay, you come up with logical reasons that help counteract the beliefs that you've rooted out. Okay, so you select the single most empowering reason that counteracts each one of these 4 limiting beliefs. So back here, you've uncovered 4 limiting beliefs with a lot of emotion attached to them. You then, having done this part, you then select the single most empowering reason that counteracts each one of those 4 limiting beliefs, okay? There's quite a bit of writing in this area. Now, last of all, you convert each of these empowering reasons into separate affirmations, and you repeat them daily, morning and evening, while triggering your goal anchor. And if you don't know what a goal anchor is, you can find out in a previous training. If you log into the members area and you go to the live trainings page, you can see a summary of each previous month's training, and just watch that video, watch that recording. And or if you go to the chapter on affirmations in the most powerful goal achievement system in the world, it's all there, how to create a goal anchor. It's a way of emotionalizing your goals, and your affirmations. Works like magic at reprogramming your mind. Promise you that. Okay, so that's how to overcome limiting beliefs. Now, as Abraham Lincoln said, most people are about as happy as they make up their minds to be. Most people are about as happy as they make up their minds to be. Just one sec. Time for another slurp of water. Oh, what would you do without water? That's fantastic. Now, So this is, we're talking about happiness here. You are as happy as you decide to be, okay? And that was his observation. Now, everything is choice. Everything we do is choice. We choose how we feel. We choose how we react. We choose, everything that we do is a choice, okay? Now, what we repeatedly choose becomes our reality. So you've heard me say this many times, our dominant thoughts, our dominant emotions create the circumstances of our life. But our repeated choices really become our reality, okay? So this is not about suppression. This is not about suppression. I mean, if we're really sad, we're really unhappy, we need to acknowledge that. But there comes a point where we need to choose to move on, okay? At some point in everyone's life, or in some cases, many times, we experience grief. And grief is grief. It's awful. And we can't eliminate that completely, but there comes a point where we must choose to move forwards. There comes a point where we must choose to feel differently. So everything really is choice. Yes, all sorts of terrible things happen in life, but we have choice in how we react and how we feel, believe it or not. So it's consciously choosing what you want to feel. And we can do this. We can do this. We can consciously choose how we want to feel most of the time. Or we can just let life buffet us around by all sorts of, things that happen. And that's just being a total a prison of the mind. That is like a ship that is adrift on the ocean. Okay? So deciding what you want to experience is the key. You need to decide how you wish to feel most of the time. If you have been going through a period of your life where things have been pretty rough and you're sick of it and you still feel deflated, it's time you chose to feel something different, to create something different. Many of you know about my experience many years ago. After selling my company to a multinational, a millionaire, I had achieved all my life's biggest dreams, and some of those dreams were huge, huge goals. But then, through trusting the wrong people, making bad investments, I lost everything. And our son was born, and I couldn't feed him, or my wife, or myself. No money, all gone. And the way I changed that situation was to choose a new mindset. Choose a new mindset. I was in pure hell. But when I started to consciously choose a different way, everything changed. When I changed, when my self-image changed, when I changed my self-image, everything changed. Now, you can really, it comes down to this. You construct your own happiness. You construct your own happiness based on your actions, okay? And what you choose. Happiness is not dependent on your circumstances. This is all scientifically verified. Happiness is not dependent on your circumstances. You can be going through a terrible time, yet still feel happiness. I've experienced this myself, many times during my life. And it sounds almost impossible. How can you be happy when things are really lousy? You can. And this is the key to transforming situations, okay? So, once again, Abraham Lincoln, most people are about as happy as they make up their minds to be, okay? So, a friend of mine, Bruce Moen, sadly he died last November. Bruce he had a great influence on me, amazing guy. He worked for many years, I think, with the Monroe Institute. He was, what would you say, an explorer of non-physical realms. This guy has done amazing research into the evidence for life after death, and he has many books you can buy on Amazon. But Bruce told me, he one day, I think it was 2000 or 2001, he spent a week with us here in our home. and he had an amazing, life-changing workshop. But Bruce, just one day, a couple of days after the workshop, we were just sitting in my living room, we were chatting, and he said something. This one sentence has changed my life. This one sentence enabled me to change my situation back in the days when we lost everything. He said, if you want to experience any state of consciousness you have ever experienced in the past, all you need to do is remember what it felt like. And that sounds so simplistic, but it's true. It's true. If you are going through hell and you realize that your emotions, your dominant emotions, are actually perpetuating the situation and your negative thoughts and beliefs, well, this is what I discovered. Thanks to Bruce, I remembered what he had told me at the worst, the lowest point in my life. And I decided, right, I have to change my mindset. I have to change the dominant thoughts and emotions, and I'm just transmitting out. If the thing is to change, if our lives are to change. So I started doing what today I call my crazy gratitude experiment. Every 30 minutes of the day, I would remember the feeling of gratitude. I would remember the feeling. I would remember an event in the past where I had felt sincere gratitude, and I'd focus on that for a few minutes. And eventually, I'd start to feel lighter. I'd start to feel gratitude. And if you're doing this every 30 minutes of the day, you get very good at it. And I know I've said this countless times, but 3 days later, massive synchronicities started happening in rapid succession. Massive synchronicities that have enabled me to create businesses that make millions and to serve large numbers of people all around the world, thanks to Bruce and what he told me. That was the key, okay? So, you choose what you want to experience. You choose what you want to experience. And as Maxwell Maltz said, this is about creating new habits, because this is what you need to do if you're stuck. You need to create new habits that change the whole permutation of your life. Once again, like pulling the corner of the spider's web. You pull the corner of a web, the entire web changes shape. You change one aspect of your life, and the web of your life and your internet connections with everything changes. That's how you become really successful. You change yourself, okay? And Maxwell Maltz said, to change a habit, make a conscious decision, then act out the new behavior. It's that simple. To change a habit, make a conscious decision, then act out the new behavior. Okay, let's see how we are for time. We're okay. So that's Maxwell Maltz. And I want to read something from his book, Psycho-Cybernetics. And it's on page 130, Professor Elmer Gates. And just 1 second while I get this here. And put down my clicker. So page 130. This is an amazing book. This is literally the Bible of high performers. You'll find that really well-known athletes, golfers, really famous people have used this book. This is called The New Psycho-Cybernetics. It's Maxwell Maltz's original book, but updated to take into context a more modern world. And it was Dan Kennedy. If any of you are involved in marketing, you know the name Dan Kennedy. He brought it more up to date. So this is what Professor Elmer Gates says. And he said, how an inventor used happy thoughts. Professor Elmer Gates of the Smithsonian Institution was one of the most successful inventors this country has ever known, and a recognized genius. He made a daily practice of calling up pleasant ideas and memories, and believed that this helped him in his work. If a person wants to improve himself, he said, let him summon up those finer feelings of benevolence and usefulness, which are called up only now and again. Let him make this a regular exercise, like swinging dumbbells. Let him gradually increase the time devoted to this these psychological gymnastics, and at the end of a month, he will find the change in himself surprising. The alteration will be apparent in his actions and thoughts. Morally speaking, the man will be a great improvement of his former self. Very simple, very, very, very simple. But this absolutely works. Let me get my clicker back. 1 sec. Hopefully won't turn over the stand my laptop is on. Okay. Amazing guy. Time for a drink of water. Oh, it's hot in here. Not as hot, but it's still hot. Okay. So your own happiness. Some revealing questions that you need to ask yourself. So, are you holding on to disappointments from your past? Are there bad things that happened in the past and you're holding on to them? If so, they are affecting you and how happy you can become. Do you ever feel like a victim? Do you ever feel that, everyone has it in for you and that, you have all the rotten luck? Are you secretly blaming others for your difficulties? Haha, that's a big one. Because even though we may be outwardly nice and smiley, inwardly we can be quite critical. And if we're blaming others for our difficulties, it dramatically reduces the level of happiness that we can experience on an ongoing basis. Also, do you sometimes feel others are lucky but you are not? A lot of people feel that way. A lot of people feel that way. Do you feel you can only be happy if something happens? Something great happens? Do you feel that I'll be happy when I achieve this? I meet my future partner, or when I make $1 million, or when I have a more fulfilling job. That's a really big one. Do you feel you can be happy if something happens? If so, you are sabotaging your own happiness now. This is fact. This is fact. So you are choosing not to become happy in the present. Anytime these are influencing you, and anytime you're allowing yourself to be influenced by these, you are choosing to not be happy in the present. And this becomes a serious habit. It becomes a serious habit that then just moves your life in the direction you don't want. And it's a habit that must be broken. And habits are your automatic responses. Habits are your automatic responses, and they can be changed. They can be changed so much more easily than you might imagine. Okay? And you can change them using affirmations, as I've shown you many times before. You can change them with affirmations and also using high performance habits. Do you remember the tapping techniques? The tapping techniques I shared with you, I think it was last month or the month before, and the Qigong exercises. I went through the entire physical Qigong routine and suggested, it's in April's live training. It's in April's live training. If you haven't seen it, you've got to watch that. You've got to watch that. These high performance techniques, using Qigong and using tapping, they'll change your life. They'll change how you feel every day. They'll dramatically change how you feel every day. And instead of being burnt out at the end of the day, you'll replenish energy as you go through the day. And you'll replenish joy and happiness and aliveness. And when you have more joy and aliveness and energy, think of what you can achieve. You'll be far more creative. You'll take really positive actions that will change the course of your life. Okay? Vital. Do these high performance exercises, okay? Now, take daily actions to strengthen the new habits. Take daily actions to strengthen the new habits. That's how habits are things you can install in your mind. They're things that are installed in your life. And when you repeat them regularly, they stick. And then you don't have to think about them anymore. Like, think about when you were learning to drive a car. You had to focus on, the clutch and the steering wheel and the mirrors and the foot pedals. But now you don't think of any of it. You just get behind the wheel and you go. So a little bit of exercise, a little bit of installing these habits, they become automatic. And a lot of people think that high performers are people who have all this amazing, superhuman self-awareness and self-discipline. Oh, no, 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 no. High performers are simply people who have a very few self-disciplines or habits that have massive effects. So the hard way is self-discipline. I assure you, most of the world's most successful people are not highly disciplined. They have adopted certain habits that serve them extremely well. And I'm teaching you these habits. Stay in the Ultimate Success Club. Use these habits. Your life will change, I promise you. Now, going the extra mile. I mentioned at the beginning Napoleon Hill. Going the extra mile actually gives you a huge advantage over others. A huge advantage. So there's this this new agey saying. It's really a misunderstanding of the law of attraction. Ask and you will receive. The movie and book The Secret, they're pretty good. They taught some people basics, but they're only baby steps compared to how you can do this. And this is one of the biggest mistakes in The Secret. Ask and you will receive. No, the universe doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You make effort and things change. If you give, you will receive. Not ask and you will receive. Give and you will receive. When you make greater effort towards helping other people, if you have a business, it's giving more to your customers than they expected. Okay? So going the extra mile, doing that extra is what makes all the difference. As a child and teenager, I was quite lazy. And I remember, I don't know, maybe I was about 16 or 17, I discovered a depressing truth. That the easy way was the difficult way. And that the difficult way was the easy way. Now, what do I mean by that? I discovered that by being lazy and just not making much effort, that was so long-term, so frustrating. It kept my life very small. It meant I didn't experience all sorts of things I could have experienced. And when I realized by just making a little bit extra effort, going the extra mile, it opened the door to all these amazing things that wouldn't have been available to me any other way, okay? So going the extra mile, making that little bit of extra effort to show appreciation to others, to show appreciation to your customers, your clients, the people who surround you, it makes your life sparkle and it opens doors that would not be there otherwise, would not be open to you. Now, Napoleon Hill, he said, you can start right where you stand and apply the habit of going the extra mile by rendering more service and better service than you are being paid for. So if you're still working for someone, you're not self-employed yet, maybe you might ask yourself, how could you show your employer greater appreciation? Do something extra. Now, it's a bit different if your employer is very unappreciative and doesn't notice anything. But what I'm saying here is when you stand out from the crowd, because very few people go the extra mile. And there's a saying that beyond the extra mile, there's very little traffic. So when you go the extra mile, if you're working with a lot of other people, you will be the one that stands out and that will be ripe for promotion, okay? Napoleon Hill also said, one of the most important principles of success is developing the habit of going the extra mile. Vital. And as I said a moment ago, the man or woman who does more than he is paid for will soon be paid for more than he does, okay? And I learned this, fortunately, a long time ago, back in the 80s, with my first business, by just showing appreciation to my clients. They appreciated me more. And when it came to a time of, cutbacks, I wasn't the supplier that was cut back because there was a personal touch. And there's all sorts of ways you can go the extra mile. If you're in business, it could be just simply once or twice a year, writing a short note to your clients. Just short note saying how much you appreciate working with them, something like that. Just showing them something different, showing care, okay? So that's going the extra mile. I'm getting parched. 1 second. So, as I say, up here in blue, develop the habit of going the extra mile. You will be richly rewarded. Very simple, very basic, but so few people do this. You do it. Okay, now, high performance coaching, questions to help you develop greater courage. Now, courage is not the absence of fear. It's not the absence of fear. If you look at anyone who works in the military, the army, and they're in a battle situation, they feel fear. They absolutely feel fear when they're going into battle. If they didn't, they'd be shot. So courage is not the absence of fear. It's the ability to do something that scares you. The ability to do something that scares you. And this is a great exercise. Please write this down. In fact, if I go too quickly, which is possible, you can download the slides of this presentation and you'll see these questions. And do answer these questions for yourself. Answer these. It will unlock a whole new level of life for you. So remember a time in the past where you felt really courageous. And how did it affect what happened to you? How did it affect what happened to you? That time in the past where you were really courageous. Did it lead to success in some way? Did it lead to something happening, something good that wouldn't have been available to you otherwise? Now, just that's acknowledging that, courage does play a part. So courage questions, okay. Number one, are there any people or situations in your life right now where you feel you could be stepping up more? Okay, so what do you tend to worry about or fear most in life? Number three, how could that fear be affecting your ability to perform at your best? Okay, now number four, is there anyone in your life who you are not being more honest with when it comes to your true feelings? And number five, if you had more courage, what would you stop doing right now? And number six, if you had more courage, what would you start doing now? What would you start doing if you had more courage? Now, very important questions. Print this out and write down your own answers. It will help you dramatically. So, high performance coaching courage checklist. And these this high performance section that I do at the end of each live training, people pay me $12,000 a year to learn these techniques. $12,000 a year to learn these techniques, and I'm giving them to you every month as part of your training. So these are the high performance strategies that have been scientifically proved to work. These are not my own ideas. A huge amount of research has gone into this. Use these, they will help you dramatically. So, awareness of what we fear. We often fear three things in life, apart from, of course, dangers to our life, physical dangers. So the things that we fear the most, three things, are loss, pain. Loss, pain. By advancing our lives, we may lose something important to us. Okay? Another fear is process pain, or process pain. Change will be too difficult for us. So this is another thing we're scared of. Outcome pain, that our efforts may not lead to a better life and that the grass on the other side may not be greener after all. So these are three types of fear that everybody has, okay? Now, think of a change you have avoided or a goal you have not moved towards. Think of a change you have avoided or a goal you have not moved towards. Now, complete these sentences for greater insight. Do this, please do this. I haven't changed or chased my dreams with more courage and commitment because, number one, I'm afraid I might lose. Once again, loss pain, process pain, outcome pain. So I haven't changed or chased my dreams with more courage and commitment because I'm afraid I might lose, fill in the blank. 2, I'm afraid the process might bring on these hardships in my life. Number 3, I'm afraid that despite all my efforts, the outcome might not be so good and I could end up, fill in the blank. And when I overcome all my fears and have the courage to take action and improve, my life will be different in this way, fill in the blank. There should be lots, you should fill in a lot there because you'll uncover a lot, I'm sure of that. This is phenomenal. When you have more courage, you can achieve so much more. I've had this proved to me again and again and again. Scientific research into high performance proves this. I'm not alone in this. This will serve you greatly. Now, so where does courage come from? Where does courage come from? Well, how do we start to gain more confidence and courage in our lives? Okay, important questions. Well, the answer lies not only in the moments of crisis, but how we live each day of our lives. It's what we do each day that counts. We can construct great courage. As I said, bit by bit by bit, little stretching our lives in small ways amounts to huge change. And when you repeat a habit several times, it becomes automatic. So you can develop deep courage. Also, we need to express our real thoughts, feelings, needs, and ambitions to others. If we're holding it all in, we're as courageous as a mouse. So when we tell people what we're about, what we believe, we become so much more confident. And also it takes courage to tell the world what you're about and what you're thinking. It really does take courage, but you become so much more confident when you start this habit, okay? And doing it more consistently will forge a stronger confidence in your heart and in your social world. And I can promise you, other people will notice. And you will certainly notice by how your circumstances will change a lot more quickly for the better. Now, more sentences you need to complete, just a couple. If I'm honest, I haven't been communicating my real thoughts, feelings, needs and ambitions to the following people, and it's costing me. So fill in the blank. A person and situation I'm dedicated to addressing in the next 5 days is, and this is why and how. And finally, these are the 3 areas I'm going to take more bold action in the next 60 days. And here's what I'm going to do. Fill in the blanks. So this is a life-changing exercise. It's one of the pillars of high performance. And it doesn't matter who you are, this will help you achieve all your dreams in life when you have more courage. It is fundamental to achieving your life's biggest dreams. So, what have we covered today? Just a quick recap. How to create a positive mental attitude. I shared with you an exercise on how to become solution focused. We looked at the importance of self-image and Dr. Maxwell Maltz's work. We did an exercise, how to uncover and overcome limiting beliefs. We also looked at the secret to long-term happiness. And it's a choice, it's a decision. And we looked at the benefits of going the extra mile and how it makes you stand out from everyone else. And people really appreciate you. And we looked at high performance exercises for creating more courage. So I really hope that this has served you, that has really helped you move to the next level. We're always moving to the next level, but this should have been a giant leap for you. And as every month, I always give you resources. When you download the presentation, the PDF, you can see all these resources: New Psycho-Cybernetics, Dr. Maxwell Maltz and Dan Kennedy, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, High Performance Habits, Brendan Burchard, The Most Powerful Goal Achievement System in the World, myself, the Bruce Moen, Voyages into the Unknown, and www.afterlife-knowledge.com. Bruce was a great guy. He'll be hugely missed. Now, at the beginning of this webinar, I mentioned that I want to give you a very special gift. I want to give you over $500 of personal development and success training for free. And you're probably wondering, why would I even do this? Why would I do this? Well, to be honest, it's an ethical bribe. I want you to check out my Ultimate Success Club, because every month I go live for people all around the world in my Ultimate Success Club monthly program. And I'm teaching the success secrets, the habits, the tools and the shortcuts, mapping out the blueprint to help you get to that next level of life, to help you reach the next level of wealth and abundance and income you've always dreamed of. And our students report huge gains in their motivation, their focus and confidence every month. I mean, who else is keeping you fired up, focused, driven to be your absolute best? And you become part of something even bigger than yourself. So this is what you get. I'm going to give you a copy of the 3-day Speed Cash seminar, where many of the world's most successful online entrepreneurs share how they would generate $30,000 in the next 30 days if their lives depended on it. And you get the full 12 DVDs of that seminar. And you also get a copy of Prosperity Power software. Now, this is the same software used by famous athletes and highly successful people to dramatically improve their performance, erase limiting beliefs, and create a success and millionaire mindset. You also get both my bestsellers, Unlock Gratitude Now and The Most Powerful Goal Achievement System in the World, for free. And you also get the classic bestsellers, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill and The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. So I'm really excited to give this to you. And I'm also going to give you special high performance training so you can succeed above and beyond standard norms consistently over the long term. Now, as I say, this is a limited offer. In fact, it's only available for the next 3 hours. So if you go to www.achievegoalsfast.com/USC, you can get this, but only for the next 3 hours. You'll find there's a timer on the page, and once it reaches 0, the next time you visit the page, you'll be diverted to the normal sales page for the Ultimate Success Club. So hurry up, take action right away, and I really look forward to being with you on live trainings from this point forwards. And you can actually watch the last 4 months of Ultimate Success Club live trainings immediately, the moment you log in. So thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye-bye.